All right, welcome back to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. This is episode 26.
Yeah.
We are back. 26 episodes.
26 in 7 months.
Look at that. Brian all happy.
Hell yeah.
Sipping his drink.
I'm in a great mood today.
Water, not any alcohol.
Yeah, Gatorade, actually.
Just to even if it was, it's our podcast.
Yeah, we're of age.
Yeah.
Except for Matty P, I think.
Yeah. We are not influencing him negatively in any kind of way.
Matt our executive producer.
Is here.
Recently just turned 21.
I'm part of the club, guys. 21.
21. New York's #1 jazz fan. We have Matthew Panico here.
On my left.
Here.
Hello.
#1 Wizards, dual fan of like 2 teams in every league.
Yes.
That's what he does.
Fan of the Chargers and Giants. How do you feel about Geno Smith going from the Giants to the Chargers?
The Chargers.
The Chargers.
The
I mean,
Chargers.
the team there.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Chargers.
Matty P,
I
seriously.
mean, I feel okay. I mean, I'm not like standing up.
No,
and
you're supposed to
clapping
be jumping
about
for joy.
Yeah,
Geno
you're
Smith.
supposed to be
I'm jumping for
excited.
joy. I mean, I
I'm
like
okay.
Geno Smith, but it's like it's
You have
not
a
gonna
great
do
quarterback
that
room now. You have
It
Phillip
is,
Rivers.
but
You have
like, it's-
arguably the best backup in football. And then you have Cardell Jones, probably the best third string in football.
Wait a second. Did you say Philip? What?
Phillip Rivers,
Oh, okay.
the best
Yes.
backup in football,
Okay, I
Geno
wanted to make
Smith.
sure, like, you just said best backup. And
No,
I was
no,
like,
no.
oh.
Phillip
about to go
Rivers.
crazy.
No, you're right.
Phillip Rivers still top 10
They're-
quarterback.
Chargers
I can't
are one
believe
of-
we're starting a podcast like this.
The Chargers are one of those teams that just need like 1 or 2. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't see this happening. Starting to talk about.
They
the
just
Chargers.
needed
I like
like
it, though.
they need like 1 or 2 more pieces, mostly with the offensive line and their defense, to actually be like a Super Bowl contending team.
All right, that's not going to happen.
I know that's not going to happen in like the next like
just
5
told
years.
us crapped on his dreams.
You know what's going to happen, though, right?
What was going to happen?
Geno Smith is going to start at least 4 games.
No, he's not.
Phillip Rivers
No, he's
Phillip
not.
Rivers is going to...
Some people say that's not a good thing for your
gonna
team.
have a-
Like I don't
Hey,
know,
he was-
because like I don't understand. Like everyone keeps talking about.
Did he not do better than Eli Manning did the entire season of last season, that one game he played? Some Giants fans feel that way.
I mean, he did okay.
I'm
I mean,
in part trolling, but I'm partially serious. But I'm not really serious, but I'm not really
I
trolling.
mean, it's good for the Giants. I mean,
And he's a Chargers Giants fan. So
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
oh.
I'm just messing with him.
We started talking about Phillip Rivers. Really? Phillip
what's the
Rivers.
problem? It's
Damn,
also
Matt, I
underrated
have something I
quarterback.
wanted to bring to your
we
attention.
We
What
also
was
did
it?
not. We also did not introduce our director of photography, Lewis.
Oh, we were
Velez,
getting to that.
Who was in the building?
We did a whole pre-show centered around
Lewis,
Lewis.
what's up, man?
Hi. Get in the
Yo,
screen.
put some bass in your voice, man.
Yo, we did a whole pre-show centered around, do you think it's important to... No. What do most people... How do we word it?
No, you said basically looks. Basically, when you
can
first
never
meet
word
someone, are you looking at their looks or are you thinking about the personality?
Yes.
And
Lewis was a star of that.
Specifically, we're talking about.
Lewis was a star of that.
specifically when you first meet someone or like when you go up to someone. And I said it's always about the looks first, honestly. If you're going to go up to somebody, you find them a little bit attractive. And then from there, you see what happens, whether or not you want to continue that talk.
Right.
But it's always about the looks.
Which
Always.
we all...
Which I agree with. For the
Exactly.
We all
most part.
agreed on, yeah.
So we're just all saying we avoid stepping to unattractive people. That's what we deem unattractive. That's what we're saying.
Exactly. But usually, if you're in a
No,
group.
you said exactly. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If I'm in a group, but like if there's somebody like next to me, maybe I'll just strike up a conversation, talk. I'm a friendly person, but
What if the unattractive person comes and tries to start the conversation with you?
I would.
Are
I
you
mean,
then
depending.
Like, no, this is not what I
No,
wanted
no.
right now.
Is that your impression of me?
No, I mean, that's just how I feel inside. I'm like, no, it's not what I wanted. Go away.
No, but it depends what setting. If let's say if it's somewhere in school or just if it's at like maybe like I'm going out for drinks and a girl comes up to me like I don't find attractive.
Nobody comes up to you.
Yeah, that's true. But nah. But it is interesting. I was telling Brian like I say I won't go up to a girl that I find unattractive. However, there was one I actually know a couple times where I was a little bit under the influence of what I'm saying.
Blame it on the
Exactly.
alcohol.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
if you're under
Lewis is
Alright.
of age, by the way. He's
exactly,
of
I'm
age.
22.
He's
I'm
legal.
22 years old.
Yes,
I'm
and
of
this
age.
happened when he was of age also.
I
Yes,
hope
it
so.
did.
I hope so.
No, it was. I was freshly 21, like a week or two.
Just say you did. Continue.
Anyway, please continue.
No, but so my friend was like, we were going to. I went to Penn State. I was telling Brian this earlier. So
Yeah, I just tuned out here.
so
I was at
Hackenberg
and them boys.
Yeah, I was at Penn State, and then we were going to basically one of my friends. One of his friends' place, in Penn State. And then he was like, oh, like maybe you should talk to her. Like when we do get to her house, I was like, all right, we'll see. I walk through the door and I literally say, nah, bro. Nah. And then he's like, all right, cool, no problem. He's like, wait a couple minutes. Wait what happens. An hour later, I was all up on that same exact girl, bro. Bro, it happens.
Because of the liquor.
Exactly. It happens, bro.
So when you drink,
My standards drop.
your standards drop.
But usually,
You should have never said that on this podcast.
I mean, like,
Well, he said unattractive behavior.
That means if anybody ever sees you and they see you show interest, they're not going to know, and you're drinking, they're
Yes.
not going to know whether it's your real standards or not. They'll be like, yo, is this really what you your level of interest, or has your level of interest dropped because you had a
I mean,
couple-
they won't be able to tell because I'm such a friendly and like talkative guy,
Well,
especially
after
when.
they watch this podcast or hear this podcast.
I mean,
No,
I hope they don't, but if they do, then
You hope they don't. We want as many people listening as possible.
That's true. We
Yo,
are
Louis,
available.
you're-
We are available on all
Nah,
platforms.
Louis, you're messing stuff up right now.
Oh my god! All right, you know what?
Man, get that camera.
Give me
Speaking
the
of
mic back.
unattractive behavior, we had some from Connor.
Yeah,
we had some
that's what we call a solid segue.
Wow.
We had some from Conor McGregor moments ago. Not really
Yeah.
moments ago, but a few hours ago. Dexter, if you don't mind, because I was at UFC 223 Media Day
Yes.
today, I'll introduce what happened.
Oh yeah, listen, to be clear, Brian brought this to my attention. I have literally give about 2 damns about the UFC. I'm not a big UFC person. So,
But you respect the athletes.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely.
We don't want to come.
I'm just not as
You're just not
I know
into
the big
MMA.
people. Yeah, I'm just not as big into it. I don't think it's whack or anything. I'm just
Yeah.
not really into it.
Well, I'm not like, I mean, I'm not a hardcore MMA guy either, but I cover everything that comes to New York that's interesting that has my attention. So with that being
No,
said,
you don't.
uh,
Oh, that has your attention. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
didn't cover that, horse racing derby that came here last year. I just made it up.
that don't got my
Horse racing
attention.
derby that came here.
Neither did the Mayweather McGregor, that whole press run where they stopped at Barclays.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that either. That ain't have my attention. But
Yeah.
speaking of Conor McGregor, so here's what happened, right? So I was at UFC 223 right before this, like a few hours ago, media day. All the fighters come around. They do a bunch of interviews, whatever, for like an hour long. It was supposed to be from like 12 to 1, whatever. Everything pretty much shut down shortly after that. Got out of there at about 1:15, maybe 1:30 the latest. So then I'm here. I look at my phone as we're getting ready, doing some I wouldn't even call it show prep because I think either Lewis was with me or Matty P was with me. One of y'all was with
You
me.
guys were doing nonsense.
Yeah, and we were just talking, and then I'm like, "Oh, Conor McGregor did what?" Because they sent out an ESPN alert, right? That Conor McGregor went just wild, throwing trash cans at buses or whatever. So then I'm like, "Wait, this happened at media day today? How? I wasn't there." So then I saw that this happened in a parking lot. And this was after I left. See, what I was explaining to them was that some people, they'll stay there, get their work done right away. They have stuff to upload right away. Since I didn't have to go far from the premises of Barclays Center, I just hopped on the train, went a couple stops, whatever, went about my day. So what appeared to have happened was Conor McGregor, in the video as you saw
Yeah, I
right
saw
before the
it.
thing,
Now I've seen it.
he ran over, threw a trash can at a bus that had several UFC fighters fighting on the card this weekend inside of it, right? He broke a glass window in the front, and it got into the eyes of Michael Chisay. I think that's how you pronounce his name. The glass shattered and cut his face, and he's fighting Anthony Pettis this weekend. Apparently, he's been rushed to the hospital, right? So
Do we know if this guy would still fight this weekend?
it sounds like he will. Michael Chisay, I don't know. I'm botching his last name. A lot of these last names are very difficult.
I have no idea.
But anyway, with that being said, the main thing is that Conor McGregor did that. People are trying to rationalize why. The thing that I can think of is this.
I still have zero idea at this moment why he did this. What happened here?
So according to the ESPN report, what it seemed like was happening, which is basically the only thing that I could think of, is that he's still pissed about not being the lightweight champion. But here's how it works in combat sports, right? Typically, you'll be given a year to defend your title. His last fight, still to date in the MMA, was actually the first UFC fight that I covered, the first card that I covered, November of 2016. Main event was him, Eddie Alvarez, champion versus champion. He evidently won the fight, and this was after the whole thing with Nate Diaz, whatever, right? So then after that, he fights Mayweather McGregor in 2017, last summer, whatever, August or whatever the case may be, right? So he hasn't fought since then. He hasn't fought in the UFC competitively in about a year and a half. So he's been stripped of the title since. And this weekend, the card that I'm covering, the main event is Khabib versus, well, it was Tony Ferguson. Now it's Max Holloway, who's the featherweight champion. Got him in last minute. Great replacement, by the way. Boxing doesn't do that because boxing gets worse replacements than the champion like all the time.
That's true.
Max Holloway got a, this is another kind of almost a champion versus champion fight because a lot of people think Khabib should be lightweight champion, whatever the case may be, right? So he's fighting Max Holloway. And people think that Conor McGregor's taking exception to not only not being a champion, but just Khabib. There's like a little rivalry brewing there. So that he was going after him. So he runs over, crashes the party or whatever you want to call it that, throws a chair, and then boom. And yeah, there's glass everywhere.
Am I missing something here? Except you're mad that you no longer have the title that you had. So you're at this press conference, and press conference is done, and you decide to run up on the bus and throw a chair.
I don't know that's the reason, but that's what I've seen as the rationalization, not a justified rationalization. Let me also add this before you comment.
Yes.
Conor McGregor, there's a police report out for him, and apparently there's an arrest warrant out for him that he cannot leave the state of New York. Like his plane cannot leave the state of New York. This is what Dana White said.
After this incident.
Yes, this is what Dana White said.
I watched the video, and the first thing I asked you, I said, what provoked this man to do this? And I hear your explanation. If you watch, for those people who haven't watched, if you go watch this video, you'll give TMZ some for whatever that's worth. You do that, you would think somebody harmed this man's family.
Yeah.
His child was in danger. I mean, the way he just ran up, grabbed the chair that was there at the Barclays Center.
Caught the whole first window.
Caught the whole first window,
Yeah.
smashed it through. He definitely should be arrested. You have somebody that's injured, that could affect their livelihood and what they, even though it looks like the gentleman will fight on Saturday.
People were saying that he should sue. I don't know what his plans are.
I would sue.
Because this is all still developing.
I would sue. I'd be taking some of that Conor McGregor money if I got glass in my eye.
I'm hoping that in Mr.
It could have been a lot worse.
If anybody knows that Mr. Detail or not, let me know. But again, we're recording this as of like right after.
You know what's sad for me? You know what's gonna do? I don't wonder how this affects UFC and MMA, and do people find this more entertaining than the fights inside the octagon?
Maybe, because a lot of people love Conor.
Is this going to? Here's the thing: if you're mad that you lost something, look, we're gonna get to this later. We call out people all the time for being corny in baseball.
Yeah.
Well, Conor McGregor, you're being corny right now in mixed martial arts. If you're mad that you don't have your title anymore, go get your title. Okay. We've seen wrestlers do better things when they're mad because they didn't have their title.
Yo, WrestleMania is this weekend. That was the thing that I wanted to bring up to you.
Shout out to my friend of the program, Kurt Sumner, who's down in New Orleans for WrestleMania with his wife Amy, who both my News 12.
They're coming to MetLife next year.
They are at WrestleMania checking out this weekend. I know they're enjoying themselves.
They're coming to MetLife next year.
I mean, I could care less.
Conor McGregor is somebody who people think that should be in the WWE as well. For what that's
well,
worth.
with that behavior, that behavior was WWE, but you know what WWE is.
Yeah.
MMA doesn't try to present themselves as this, and this guy's throwing chairs through windows where people actually get hurt.
And they got Ronda Rousey already, and that's working so far. But another thing is,
last thing I want to say is, I hope he does not get a slap on the wrist, and I hope that this is taken seriously because somebody legitimately could have got hurt. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Dana White and Conor McGregor have been feuding for a while. Like, I remember a while back, Conor McGregor, his big thing was that he wanted an ownership stake in the UFC, and this is before they were sold to WME-IMG. You know what I mean? So he's been wanting an ownership stake. Like, he just wants more. He feels like he's worth that. He feels like he's the main cash cow, and it'd be hard to argue against that, quite frankly. Because it was him and Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey was there, and now Ronda Rousey's in WWE.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't give you. Well, I'll tell you what's.
It doesn't give him an excuse to behave that way, but that just gives more background into him.
I understand what he wants.
By the way, I still have my UFC event thing on that I should.
You look like the person
off.
who You come out of
Came
the club.
back from the doctor?
Not doctor. You come back from the club and you like still have the wristband on in the morning. Damn.
That didn't work. Damn. All right.
Okay, because it has to come off now.
This is awkward.
No, what I was going to say is if that's what he wants and he wants this ownership stake, you know what's not going to get you this ownership stake? Throwing windows through a bus. That's not a way to say, hey, I want to be...
Throwing trash cans through a window.
That's it through a bus.
He said throw
windows through a bus?
Yeah.
Throwing windows through a bus.
Well, I once did that. I threw a window through a bus. It makes no sense what I'm saying.
You've done that before?
No.
Oh.
You mean...
I might have.
You can't throw a window through a bus. It doesn't make any sense.
If you have the window in your hand.
I guess you can.
What if you break the window and then you could take it?
He threw a chair through the window.
Either way, it's very childish for a man.
And it's not going to get you what you want. And he came across as acting like a spoiled child. That's what it looks like. Now, if you put what you said in context and that has any validity, he looks like a spoiled, angry child.
But my thing also, and you're going to agree with this, even if it doesn't, what's the reason?
You still look like a spoiled, angry child.
Like, there were other, mind you, again.
Other people could have been hurt. This is serious.
Yeah, there's other fighters in that. I saw, like,
and if I'm those other fighters, I don't want to mess with him anymore. I would, like, imagine you were in that bus. I don't want to mess with this dude. If I would love to be one of those fighters that was in the bus. You'd like, wait till next time I see Conor. Now, what was funny before we go to break? There was one dude in that video, though, that you got to see who had no business trying to come at Conor McGregor. Some dude who, I don't know, he worked for UFC, and he was like, look, I'm going to stop Conor McGregor. And I was looking at him like, no, you are not. This isn't going to end well for you. And he came at Conor McGregor, and he looked slipping and sliding and flailing his arms. It looked bad, but it's funny if you see it. Whoever that man is, be for effort, but you didn't want to catch a right hand from Conor. It would have been a wrap for you. You did not want to catch that. Or left. Or kick.
Or foot.
Or elbow. It was not going to be good for that man. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about more people being corny in baseball. This week in baseball,
we're also going to talk about some good stuff in baseball, too.
And some good stuff in baseball, like how our Mets are off to a decent start. But a lot of Met fans are waiting for the other shoe to drop, as we do every season. And also, baseball now on Facebook. They did their first of their weekly live streams, which will be on Facebook Watch. Brian and I watched that yesterday.
A lot of people showed their age.
A lot of people showed their age, definitely.
Not knowing if they could.
And watching that game. We'll talk more about that when we come back on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. What's up, listeners? You know sometimes how it can be hard just to get from point A to point B. Now, when I have to get anywhere and I don't want to deal with the hassle of public transportation, it ain't hard to tell how I get around. I always make sure to use the best car service app in the game. I'm talking about Lyft. Lyft offers rides in minutes. All you have to do is download the Lyft app, request a ride, and you will be on your way quickly. Lyft is all about happy riders and happy drivers. Take a ride with them and you'll see why 9 out of 10 rides end up with a 5-star rating. Lyft always has amazing offers for new customers, and I'm here to tell our listeners about a great offer today. Lyft is currently offering free ride credit to Ain't Hard to Tell listeners. If you are new to Lyft, then you are eligible, and getting your credit is easy. All you have to do is download the app and use the promo code AHTTPOD to unlock your free credit today. Ain't hard to tell who has the best car app service, so use the code today and ride out loud with Lyft. The best new sports web series is here. It's from Backpack Broadcasting, and it's called The Sports Walk. The Sports Walk is a series where diverse sports fans take a walk and share their views at the intersection of sports and society. The entire first season is now available on Backpack Broadcasting's YouTube channel and backpackbroadcasting.com. See what other sports fans have to say about a variety of issues in the world of sports. Watch all 13 episodes from season 1 and take The Sports Walk today. All right, Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, episode 26. Dexter, Henry, Brian, Fonseca, and the crew in the building. Interesting things in baseball, man. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of this season. We're going to call out the corniness in baseball sometimes. As much as I like the sport, something always has happened where somebody does something where I'm just shaking my head.
We'll call out the good stuff, too.
Absolutely.
If there's good stuff.
And it's some good stuff.
But lately, you know.
But this that I saw... And I sent this text. I texted this to Brian. I said, "Oh man, I couldn't believe when I read this story."
You knew.
I already knew where Brian was going to go.
This is our lane.
And now I want to know. I want to know what Matt, our producer Matt, thinks about this because
Yes.
I haven't even brought it up to him yet. I don't know if he knows. But I would like to know because he's a big baseball fan.
Is
so
Lewis
I
the
wanna
only?
know.
Is Lewis the only non-baseball person in here? All right, cool.
Yeah, we're not,
He
not
said,
gonna-
"What's
he said,
baseball?" In case you
baseball.
Say
couldn't
what's
hear.
Address
baseball,
that.
everybody.
I'm not even gonna address that.
That's not cool, man.
So here's the
I
news.
bet you like softball.
Here's
though.
the news, folks. Minnesota Twins players were upset. Why were they upset? This
Why?
was Sunday. This is one of the first couple of games of the year. That Baltimore Orioles rookie catcher Chance Cisco. I like that name. Chance.
I do
Cisco.
too.
Chance Cisco. I
Take
like
a
it.
chance. On chance.
Yeah. Well, he took a chance,
He did.
and he decided in the ninth inning.
I thought he'd be black.
Minnesota was up.
No, I looked up a picture of him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chance Cisco does sound kind of black.
It
yeah,
does.
you know what I mean? Like,
Do they call him Chance the Catcher?
oh wow.
Do you
That
think?
should be his nickname.
Do you think they call him CC?
I hope they call him Chance.
No, it's
the
Chance. It's CS.
Never mind.
It's Chance Cisco.
Catcher. Yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, Chance the Catcher. I like that.
Didn't Cisco have any nicknames back in the day?
From Drew Hill?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Where else would I get Cisco from?
I no idea. But that's SISQO.
Other than Dong Song references, could you call him anything based around that?
No.
No.
All right.
Okay. Anyways,
Anyway,
Chance the catcher.
he is the Baltimore Orioles catcher. Minnesota's up 7-0 in the ninth inning. Against him, Minnesota decides to play the shift. Okay? For those people who don't know, shift is a defensive alignment movement you play that moves your defense to where you think the hitter will pull the ball. Chance Cisco did something that I've been screaming for people to do for years against the shift. When somebody shifts against you.
Bunt.
Hey, why don't you bunt?
yeah.
Why don't you bunt?
Absolutely.
Matt, let's ask you this. Brian knows
All
this.
right.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Because we know where I'm going.
Hey, what's up, Dex?
Isn't something you've heard in baseball your entire life? You played Little League. Maybe you played with some other people sometimes.
have.
The thing about baseball when it's hitting isn't hit the ball where they are not.
That's exactly what they tell you.
They
as soon
tell
as you
you
pick
that.
up with the bat, they're like,
From the
hey,
time you are yay high,
Yay.
hit the ball where they ain't.
Have we all played Little League here? All
do
of
the
us?
yay high again?
Yay high.
That yay high, people.
This yay high.
Yeah.
No, because nobody hearing this can see the yay
No.
high.
Have we
Can't
all
see.
played
Yay
Little League
high
here?
was
We all
about
played.
halfway high as Brian
Yeah.
in a chair.
Yeah,
to be
okay.
clear.
It's probably
Yeah.
accurate. Have we all played Little League here? The reason why I ask is because you've been taught that since Little League.
Yes,
Supposed
Yeah.
to.
yes, I played Little League baseball.
Me
I don't
too.
think
Lewis
Louis-
is like, "What's Little League?" He
Yeah,
has no
Louis-
idea.
Even I get that.
Even I
Yeah.
played Little League.
Like I play baseball for fun. I'm just like, yeah, just swing it at where there's nobody there, so you can make sure and get the run. Yeah.
Okay, see, even Lewis, who doesn't care about baseball, understands
He has
that
a concept.
But somehow,
Yeah.
that concept and Chance Cisco saying, "Hey, defense is playing me this way. I'm going to bunt it up the third base line." He got on for a hit.
Yeah.
Well, that angered some people on the Minnesota Twins,
Which is
particularly
stupid.
Twin second baseman Brian Dozier, who spoke out
Dozier.
about.
Brian with an I. I don't claim him.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you don't.
Somebody else told one of the reporters, "I don't care if he's bunting. I just know it's not good for baseball in that situation."
Okay.
Which begs the question:
Nauseating.
in which situation would it be good? Would it be good? Because why was it bad? Was it bad for the Twins to shift in that situation? Because what are you saying that at that point the game's so out of hand
Yeah.
that everybody should be giving up, not trying to get a hit? Well, why are y'all shifting against him?
Is he a super
Why are
pull
you
hitter?
playing?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Who?
Chance the catcher.
Well,
Chance.
yeah, whatever side they shifted to, they assumed that he would pull to this side, so they aligned their defense.
Yeah,
with
so
that.
he must be.
So
that must be the scouting report on him that
right.
he's a super pull
So
hitter.
Chance says,
Yeah.
"Hey,
I'm gonna
this
outsmart
is the
you."
defense.
Yeah.
I'm going to adjust to that." We in all sports we revel people for making in-game adjustments. He just did that, and
Yeah.
now somebody's criticizing him. for
Only
making
in baseball.
As well-
That's my issue.
So
Only
Matt,
in baseball.
Matt, being the baseball fan that I know is your favorite sport. What do you make of this?
Okay, Minnesota was up by 7 runs.
7-0.
And they're still doing a field alignment for what inning was it? The eighth.
Bottom
inning?
of the ninth inning.
Bottom of
Okay,
the ninth.
so
the very last inning.
yeah, so they shouldn't really have any reason to talk. They're doing a field alignment to get an out. They're up 7 runs. Okay. Second thing, who was on the mound? Was it a starting pitcher?
Let's see. if I
Because
can
here's
find
my
it.
reasoning:
I
if
don't-
the starting pitcher is going in throwing a shutout game, maybe. But either way,
Jose Barrios.
Oh yeah, that was
Jose
the point.
Barrios.
That was
So
the
reliever.
point.
So
no,
my-
that's the point that he made earlier.
so
though,
my
that he-
point that I made
yeah.
earlier for people that wasn't in the room,
Or
which
wasn't
is-
on
which is-
Periscope.
which is everybody listening right now, is that if you have a pitcher that's a starter, that's either throwing a no hitter or a perfect game, then I could understand why people would be upset about the bunt because that's a cheap way of getting a hit to a pitcher who is, pitching their heart out right there, and they deserve that thing. But here's my counter argument to someone saying, well, if that pitcher is throwing said no hitter or perfect game, they wouldn't be doing a field shift either way because they want to make sure that line is covered so that if a ball does end up on the third base line, someone's going to get it. So why are they angry? Why are you angry? There's no perfect game. There's no hitter. Your guys not even throwing a shutout.
Baseball, and baseball
Honestly,
has their own rules.
Honestly,
like their own rules that are unwritten rules that are meant for the 1928, not 2018.
It's clubhouse rules, and it's just the way the game's always going to be. But like,
I hope not.
I mean, Dozier, just shut up, man. Like,
honestly, if
3 games,
and it's not good for baseball comment. Like
baseball needs more
only
brawls.
Baseball
That's it.
has that.
It doesn't make sense.
Like,
but
and football sometimes.
But that comment doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
If it wasn't good for baseball, then you have to acknowledge that you were making a change to prevent him from doing something. Why were you doing that in the 9th inning?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Why were Brian Dozier? Why was the shift on? It's like, oh,
that's true too.
You can't take advantage of this. We want you to stop playing when we're blowing you out, but we're not going to stop playing defensively for you. What are
you mad about? You're up 7-0. You're mad that he didn't ground out into your shortstop.
And as well, the way I see it is baseball is as much of a team sport as much as it is individually. Because these players have to put up the numbers. They need to make sure their average is up there. Or that kid's not going to be starting. That kid's not going to be there.
And this guy's a rookie. Did I mention that as well?
I think
he's even a backup catcher.
Yeah, and that's
he's trying to stay in the league.
He's trying to stay in the league.
Show.
It's a team sport, but it's the same thing, same time.
Confirmed he's a backup catcher.
It's individual. I mean, he's trying to get a base. And how many at bats did he get since that? That's probably his first at bat. You pinch
Look,
it.
man, the goal, supposed to hit the ball with their arm, supposed to get on base. I do want to mention.
Just Brian Dozier, shut up.
I read this and I thought the same thing. Brian Dozier should shut up.
Yeah. I found another wrinkle to this. Wait,
I read this article by Sam Miller on ESPN who had it's called Brian Dozier whining about a bunt is all about trying to gain an edge.
Which it is.
And his thing was about these unwritten rules that people speak, which I completely agree with this guy who wrote this article, Sam Miller, is about players trying to gain edges on other players by saying things like, hey, we're up at this point, you don't do this because it's bad for baseball. You're almost shaming people into these thoughts that something is going to be bad for the sport.
This happened at some point this season. It was against Cleveland.
In baseball already?
No. This is in basketball.
Okay.
Dario Saric got the ball like with seconds left, and they were already up 10, and they were supposed to dribble out the clock, whatever. And there was less than 20 seconds left. He dunks it. And then Jordan Clarkson gets the ball, chucks it at him. This is against Cleveland, at Cleveland, by the way.
Yeah, I remember this.
Chucks it at him. And then, there was this whole confrontation. LeBron obviously got in there, says something. Everybody got in there, says something. I bring that up to ask, is this different? Is this any different? Do you take exception
I think it's corny
to
either
that
way.
too?
Because
Chris Webber, I agree with Chris Webber. He was like, yo, if I'm sorry, dunk that harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's the problem? I also hate I hate that in basketball too. Let's not absolve the NBA for this. Let's not absolve all of basketball for this. If you're dribbling out the clock to end the game, sure, good sportsmanship, whatever. But if you're going to score at the end, especially if you're a reserve, Dario Saric is not a bench player, but still, if you're somebody who at the end of the game you want to score and they're not really guarding you, go score.
Yeah, my man's trying to get 2 points.
I'm trying to get my average up. If that helps me in my next contract, because you ain't going to be there in the room negotiating my next contract. If you're mad here's what I say about anything. If you're mad, stop it.
Yeah.
You can't stop it, don't be mad. You couldn't stop that bunt, you have no reason to be mad.
And like I said,
pitch better.
The only way to be salty about this, that I would somewhat justify being salty about this, is it taking away a no-hitter or perfect game.
And I still have a problem with that, because I say, here's my thing.
Yeah.
But,
I'm not, if I'm on the other team, as much as I've won, I remember when the Mets didn't have a no-hitter, I want to see a no-hitter.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, sometimes I feel like when we talk about no-hitters, we only think about the team that's throwing the no-hitter. The team that's not throwing the no, you think they want to be no-hit?
No.
Who wants to be no-hit?
No. Yeah.
I'm doing whatever it takes to not have my team be no-hit.
Yeah.
If I have to bunt, I'm going to bunt. And if you feel some kind of way about it, hey, be better.
So we can agree that this is all
better.
This is all pretty much out of emotion.
Yeah.
Like that's what.
You know
what it
what? If
is,
somebody
trying
does
to
a
get
bunt to break up a no-hitter, I ain't mad at
Yeah.
them.
No, I'm mad at them.
So
And
to foul.
I understand more of the frustration, but I'm not mad at them.
And the other team,
Yeah.
if there was a no hitter, like I said, there wouldn't be a shift, and they would be protecting all baselines, all open. You know, they would just be protecting it. So
I think that's a good point too.
Stop being
I think
angry.
that's a good point.
But
Don't
Shut
act
up, Brian
like-
Dozier.
So
Shut
Brian
up.
Dozier, let's be fair to him. There was more to this.
all right, what's the
apparently.
wrinkle?
He had a quote. This is in a story on TwinCities.com, and apparently
Okay.
it said Dexter's already got that face. Like this is gonna be some bull. But
It's going to be. I already know.
I want to
quote,
hear it.
when they didn't hold our runner on, they conceded to the fact that
Yes,
they
I read
didn't
this quote.
that they didn't want us to steal, so we didn't steal. Dozier said. We could have very easily stolen and put up more runs, so therefore, in return, you don't bunt. That's what everybody's missing in this whole
No, they're
thing, close quote. So there's an unwritten rule, so there has to be an unwritten exchange. Man, I'm tired of baseball.
You know,
yo.
basically what that guy. You know what he's saying by saying that?
What?
We weren't trying, so they shouldn't try.
Yeah.
That's what you. That's what you're saying.
It's like when you're playing
What?
pickup. It's like when you're playing pickup ball with somebody, and you're mad that somebody's not playing defense. Somebody else is scoring a lot. I mean, no, the person not playing defense is mad because the other person's scoring a lot on them, and it's like, yo, I'm not trying, so you shouldn't be trying.
We laud athletes for the effort, and then you're gonna say when they should not give 100% effort. People who are getting paid to play a game that we like to see play at a high level.
Hold on. This is
no
the
matter
best
what
quote.
sport, and you're saying,
Oh.
nah, don't try now.
This is the best quote.
This
He
is
goes,
another wrinkle?
everybody just thinks he's whining because they bunted against the shift, Dozier said. That's how baseball is played. That's just how the game is played. That's just how it is. Again, you have to play baseball the right way.
You know what I'm gonna say? When you talk about that's how it is, it's corny.
What?
That's how it is.
What's the right way to play?
Nobody
Dan
can-
Lebatard
Nobody can
qualifies.
explain that.
Dan Lebatard calls it the white way.
The white way?
You can do with that what you
And
want.
well, you know what? You know what I'm mad about when I see a lot of reporters and why are these reporters pressing them on this dumb stuff? Who's standing again these quotes and is like, oh, could you explain that what the right way is?
Yeah.
Could you further get into that? How come nobody's ever asked that question? Because they get to say the statement, oh yeah, well that's how baseball plays the right way, and those guys walk away from that press scrum feeling like, oh, I told them.
All right,
Real
we
quick
got a lot more to get into.
to move into.
Yeah.
Facebook is now
Smile
doing.
now.
They're now doing. I can smile after that nonsense we heard.
Shut up,
Facebook
Brian
is now
Dozier.
doing a game every week on Facebook Watch. MLB game of the week. First game of the week this week was Mets and Phillies. If you're a Mets fan or a Phillies fan, it was not on in your local market, so this was the only way you could watch it.
Some people were
you had to
outraged
watch
about
it
that.
on Facebook. Some people were real mad about
Really
this on
mad.
Facebook.
Really mad.
I take it we have a couple Mets fans here.
Yeah.
I watched it. I thought it was okay. I expected there to be some glitches with the system.
Same.
As a company, what we do for Backpack, as people who produce live streams, we know some of the glitches and stuff that can come up, and it's not as easy as people think. There was a time, I think in the fourth inning, where it went out for 7 minutes, and then maybe they had an internet issue. A lot of people were getting upset, and I think a lot of people are coming from places of ignorance where they don't know how things actually work.
They don't.
Yeah.
And yet they're complaining about it, which a lot of people do with technological stuff.
Well, the median age for baseball fans
Yeah.
is like in the mid 50s, so a lot of people in the mid 50s aren't really on Facebook.
Fine.
And I also
I
like,
thought,
yeah.
I just before
No,
I
no,
let
no.
you guys go. I thought overall the production was pretty good. I like the fact that there were no commercials, although I don't think that will last for very long. I think that will
Nope.
change very soon.
I'll change.
One of the things I think they got in the middle of the game was people did not know how to get rid of the comments in the game. They finally explained that. I think by the third inning, you were able to swipe to get away the in-game comments, which were
they did.
so annoying.
I just put it
Yeah.
full screen, but we'll get to why in
Yeah.
a second.
I had actually right. Couple of things I liked. I thought they did a good job with their field reporter, sideline reporter, and having her active around the park doing stuff. It was interesting to see her doing interviews and things during the game instead of watching commercials. You got to learn something maybe about a park that you might not know if you've never been to Citi Field or go to another ballpark. So they were putting her to work.
She interviewed beat writers from both teams.
That was I thought the stuff that they had to do for content was dope. I also liked that in the broadcast booth they had somebody that was a former player of each team. So we had Cliff Floyd, John Kruk. There were things I liked about the broadcast specifically. I think there's still some work that needs to be done, but I guess we want to throw out to people, hey, do you care that like baseball is going to be on Facebook once a week and it's the only way you can watch it if it's your local team? Does it bother you? Do you like it? Do you think this is a good idea?
Yeah.
I think there are positives about it, and I think it's going to be good going forward in the future. One point I saw 79,000 people watching This is why ads are going to be there soon. When you got
Yeah,
79,000 eyeballs,
And that's why they
watching
did
the
it, you know
game,
what I mean?
there will be ads there eventually. But what did you guys think about it?
I thought that I liked it for all the reasons you pretty much said. I will say this though, it's still baseball at the end of the day, and I have a really hard time only focusing on the baseball game by itself. So how I consumed Facebook Live Mets versus Phillies. I almost said Cardinals for some reason because they are red.
Less serious.
But how I consumed that was I was playing the show, which we said that I copped last week, and I had it on my laptop here, full screen. My pops was in and out of the kitchen, so he was watching some of it too. Wasn't quite a fan of the whole Facebook thing, but that's also because we like Gary, Keith, and
Similar.
Ron. But my whole thing is I could not just sit. Like, granted, they had my attention at commercial breaks because I found myself tuning in when I believe her name was Alexa Dat doing
Yes.
the interview with DeComo and things like that. I
She
was
did
watching.
a great job. I thought she did really
So
good.
I was watching that, and I liked it. I always like progressive thinking, and that's kind of the direction we're going on to. Although I would like to see them give people the option to also watch it on their local broadcast while having that on Facebook. But I understand why it's not, because they want to build that up. Soon, as you said, there are going to be commercials there. But yeah, I was playing the show while I was watching that game, so I was getting it in on franchise mode, GM mode, whatever you want to call it, And you found that funny because, like, it's still baseball.
I found it funny from like a sort of like ADD standpoint. It's like, I'll be playing baseball while watching baseball.
baseball.
I had to. It's funny because
So it's funny.
It's funny because you'll see it sometimes. Like Jay Bruce will be up to bat, and then I have Jay Bruce batting in the thing. But it's cool because since it's a video game, you can get in like 2-3 pitches in between the real life 1-2 pitches because the game is so slow.
What did you think?
I caught highlights of it, and production value was good. I didn't really. What I did was I watched the highlight of the actual broadcast because Facebook allows you to do
Did
that.
you go back and look at the actual broadcast?
I did.
Going on?
I did. So, I did see a glitch. The glitch you said.
Yeah.
The comments were annoying, but I was able to figure that out.
It was
in
like
the long
put it
run.
full screen.
It was 7
That's what I
minutes.
did.
Yeah.
This is what you do. Put on something else on your TV and then put that on your laptop. Put it full
And
screen.
here's my problem. People like to complain about things, but they don't realize that it's free at the end of the day. Like, they're getting this broadcast for free.
But
You
speaking
want me
of
to get
that-
into my journalism
but
tirade?
No, I don't. I don't want to.
Speaking of
Again?
Matt, that's a good point. But one of the more consistent comments I kept seeing, speaking of free, was that I pay for
my
SNY, or I pay for MLB TV,
that's
or
exactly
I pay
it.
for Comcast in Philly, and I have to be subjected to watching this. And it's like, first of all, you're not subjected because nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying you have to watch this.
Yeah.
If you don't want to choose to consume it this way, don't watch.
And it's April. It's regular season
Like,
baseball in
wasn't
April.
it wasn't like they were forcing people to do this in nobody. Well, first of all, let me take it back. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. It wasn't like they were giving you this as the only option during the postseason. Then I would have been understood why people got upset. In the postseason, if my stream went out for 7 minutes,
I would be
tight.
They should not do this in the postseason. They shouldn't even
I don't
do
think
this.
that's gonna happen
They
yet.
shouldn't even do this in playoff races either.
No.
But if you do, it should be as an alternative to the actual TV broadcast. If you do it.
I think this will be fine, and I think as they go through more stadiums and they test more connections
Yeah.
and they understand their servers and what can handle with 80,000 people watching it, the quality of the video was fine.
No, I actually enjoyed it. Like,
Even with
It
80,000
was.
people watching it, the quality was fine.
The announcing was
production,
good.
The announcing was
the announcing
fine.
was good, yeah.
It was totally. Here's what people have to understand: for all the, and this goes to some of your point about older baseball fans.
yeah.
It's all
The
changing,
average
man.
baseball
It's
fan, not
all
older
changing.
baseball fans.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm a little bit different because I work in producing live streams and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I understand where all of this stuff is going in terms of TV. You're gonna be. It's nice to be able to watch it on your phone.
That's the future,
or
man.
your tablet, or your laptop. The only thing I didn't like, and this is one thing I tested out because I was home with my daughter, and then she got up, and I was watching my phone first, and I was like on my iPad, and I was like, oh, I have Apple TV, so I wanted to AirPlay it.
Yeah.
They don't allow you from Facebook to AirPlay. It blocks the AirPlay,
Wow.
so you can't AirPlay it. The only option you have to do is if you have an iPhone, you can mirror it from your phone, and if you put it landscape, it'll then mirror it like a full screen for landscape. So you have that, and that
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
They'll probably work on that though.
But then it
because
sucks because you see your text notifications coming
Yeah.
up on the screen. and
However,
stuff like
the
that.
average-
they'll probably work on
yeah.
that though because a lot of baseball fans don't know what AirPlay is.
And the average person is not going to understand that the mirror of the phone and stuff like that. Another
Yeah,
thing
you're
is
too
like,
you're too sophisticated
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
average
really.
baseball fan.
I'm sorry.
another thing going
So
back
it's
to
your
that
fault.
though.
Oh, and I have one other
My
thing.
dad was home. He wasn't home that day. He had to go to work, but he was like, "What? The game's not on SNY? Blah blah blah." My dad's 6 years old. longtime Mets fan since they were conceived in '62. And he was
Shout out
like,
to him.
"What? This is crazy!" He's like, "I don't understand this." Blah blah blah. But he understands like they're trying a new thing. He's like, "Whatever." And I was like, the last thing I said was like, "Dad, you listen to it on the transistor radio in the car and in the lab at work." So it's like, my dad's a microbiologist in the hospital.
Sidebar: Matt looks just like his dad.
Yeah. So like, I'm not like, you're not gonna go watch it on whatever. And it turns out that someone at work logged into their Facebook and had it put on for him so he could watch the game. So like, why are you complaining
Shout out
for?
to that person.
Yeah,
See,
shout out
it's
to that
tough.
person.
See, and with the NBA and the WNBA has experimented this, putting games live on Twitter.
Yeah.
You don't see this kind of pushback from those leagues either.
And
there was another. The G League does this too
on Twitch.
I've seen that done.
On
was it the
Twitch.
Premier League that did it? Was the Premier League?
Champions
Okay,
League
they
did.
did.
And
Like,
that's- and
you don't
that's
see
the
the
reason.
pushback from fans of
No.
those sports because typically the average demographic of basketball and soccer fans is
Yeah.
pretty much us.
And
Pretty
here's
much the people
and
in
here's
this
one
room.
one other thing though, and sort of in a business standpoint, the NBA was smart in the way they tackled this new streaming platform by starting it off with the G League and testing it out with the G League.
Yeah.
So if the MLB did this with the minor league system, although there's differences in the stadium and internet and stuff like that, but it would allow them to test certain kinks in the system and stuff like that. And that's why I thought the whole G League thing is genius, because NBA is definitely going to implement
And the
that in the
WNBA
future.
too. WNBA too.
I
It was
haven't
tested
seen-
there.
but
It was
okay,
tested there
yeah,
also.
that too, and it's just smart. They're starting on a smaller market, G League. There's people that like G League,
That's
and
good business.
they're gonna build up. So like,
That's a good point.
it's smart.
I agree
It's
with
smart.
That. Last thing I will say is I think one of the things I did not like before we go to break, one of the things I did not like was, you have the comments that you have during the game, but in the game, the announcers you could tell they were forced to bring up a comment. So there was one guy, I think his name was Vince. I don't remember where he's from. Vince, and it was like Vince made a comment about Matt Harvey, and Vince said, it's good to see Matt Harvey back. He's always pitched amazing for us. And I was like, did you watch the Mets last year, bro?
And the year before that?
Did you watch the Mets last year? So
There's a reason his overall's a 68 in the show right now.
Did you watch the Mets last year? He's always been amazing. Here's my thing.
Don't laugh, Louis.
When
That
I'm
matters.
watching the game,
I'm trying to trade him right now.
Any sport. I do not care what Jerry from Jersey has to say about the Mets. I don't care what Bernice in Brooklyn has to say about the Mets.
A lot of alliterations going on.
I don't care what Matt in Manhattan has to say about anything.
I don't care what Steve in Staten Island has to say about the Mets.
Why do I care? So I can be like, oh yeah, that guy's a
Quincy
Matt
and
Harvey
Queens.
fan. Like,
I was gonna say, can you get one for Queens?
I mean, no, I don't care.
And here's how they get rid of that. If you watch the NBA, and I've taken some illegal streams for my Utah Jazz game, the NBA,
You didn't have to say that.
They
Well,
come
doesn't matter.
for you.
Like,
They
right.
come for me. I know how the
Yo,
whole thing works.
you
They got nothing on me. Anyways, the way the NBA and the NFL does that is when they're coming back from commercial break, or if they have some, like, they put up boards with hashtag such and such of like comments of people on Twitter that's filtered, so the announcers don't have to mention anything like that, and that's during breaks in play, so it's not affecting anybody. Did this person, the announcer, said it during the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's stupid.
Just bring up the good comments. That's it.
They didn't want to take an Instagram post from Kevin Plawecki and showed it about his
I don't
upcoming
care.
child.
Whatever. But we
Not to
got
say I don't care.
We got a
Alright,
break.
let's go to
I'm not
break.
talking
Let's go to
Mad
break.
stuff to go into
Yeah,
segment 3.
although if you want to leave your comments on our YouTube
Yes, please do.
video, you're more than welcome to do. So I do want to hear from Bernice in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
we do wanna
Steve
hear
in
from
Staten
that.
Island, Quincy
Steve in
and
Staten-
Queens.
You guys can comment on us. We'll
what I
talk.
mean?
We'll talk to you. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about
Matt from Manhattan.
today when we started this podcast. Which
Nate
is
in Newark.
What, Nate in Newark? A major injury that's going to shake up the playoff race, not the playoff race, but like the playoffs in the Eastern Conference of basketball. Should there be a NBA Basketball Hall of Fame, and some news in boxing? We'll talk about all that when we come back on the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast.
Sports Guru is the place where fans talk about sports via video. All videos are 60 seconds or shorter. Sports Guru makes the video look more professional and fun by adding automated on-screen graphics. You can follow your favorite sports by team, trending, new, or by people you follow, and more. Type in the title of your video and it will automatically, that's right, auto-magically go into your on-screen graphics. It's just that simple. Tag your teams and publish sports. Let's talk sports.
It ain't hard to tell where to get the latest merchandise from Backpack Broadcasting. Gear is now available via TeePublic. Visit the Backpack Broadcasting TeePublic online store to get shirts, hoodies, mugs, and phone cases. Represent your favorite Backpack Broadcasting shows, including the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, and of course, the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Check out the special offers for our podcast listeners at http://t.pub/lic/backpack. Get in the game with your official Backpack Broadcasting gear today. All right, welcome back to the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Dexter Henry, Brian Fonseca here. We are moving on from baseball, and people don't you dare make fun of me. Don't you dare. Nobody sounds like that. Why do people do that? You know when you're making fun of somebody and you're like,
you don't do their voice.
You don't do their voice.
Like,
yo, this girl was whining to me. She was like, she doesn't sound like that.
No, you know why I made that voice, Dex, exactly? Because constantly, all the time, what do? Hi, my name's Dexter Henry. You do like that weird voice that you always do for your daughter.
Why are you blowing up spots, man?
What are you talking?
Yeah.
First of all, what are you talking about?
You always do that.
I have
weird,
never
voice.
done a voice where I've said,
Oh
my
God.
name is Dexter Henry.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't even say
Am I-
that.
Stay tuned for the return of
Are
Behind
you
the
guys gonna
Pod.
sit here and let him talk like
Why
that?
would I say
lies.
that and then
Spitting
say
out
my
lies.
name is Dexter Henry and do some weird kind of voice? I would never do that.
Do you want to interject? Anyone want to interject?
Let's get into topics, guys.
Well, going into this next topic, is that good enough for you, Lewis?
This is getting clipped.
Hi, I'm Lewis. I have nothing else to contribute to the podcast, so I have to make up voices. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk like this for the rest of the podcast.
No, please,
and people
please.
will still listen to me.
I definitely just headbutted the microphone.
You did. All right, come on.
All right.
Let's get into
You
it.
did that before I did.
What?
What?
That's it. You're never gonna hear that from me again in the podcast. That's the one and only.
Yeah, all right.
All right, come on. We're behind
All right.
schedule.
Well,
got a lot to talk
moving
about.
on to basketball, I was
We got the voice of Lewis and the voice of
the voice of
Dexter.
Lewis. This obviously some news came down today, Thursday, April 5th, when we're recording this podcast.
Yeah.
Shocking, I think big shocking news in the NBA was that Kyrie Irving will have knee surgery after having a minor procedure a few weeks ago. Will have knee surgery, will be out for the rest of the season, which are only like 4 or 5 games left, and the playoffs. He will have about a 4 to 5 month recovery, so he should be ready for the start of next season. Yo, how big of a blow is this for the Celtics, who I feel bad for them in a way, and it's hard for a Knicks fan to feel bad for a Celtics fan, but they had a blow in the beginning of the season when Hayward goes down in game 1. And then in like game 79, or excuse me, 76 or 77, whatever it is, 77
Same
for
thing.
them.
Roughly.
They lose Kyrie, who's led them all year and has had a great season for them. Damn.
You know what? I'm not going to get into whether or not I feel bad for Boston fans, but I do feel for Kyrie Irving.
That said a lot.
I do feel for Kyrie. Well, they got the Patriots. They'll be all right. I do feel for Kyrie Irving.
Thanks.
But it does suck because Kyrie Irving and the players, and to some degree that organization, because Gordon Hayward's out for the season, who Matt does not miss, by the way.
I don't miss Gordon Hayward. By that, you're on TeePublic.
So there's Gordon Hayward being out, and then people think that, hey, that's their chance to really compete. But then Kyrie Irving is great. You see a step up from Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum is one of the best rookies all season. You got a lot of role players contributing at a high level.
Yep.
Brad Stevens is doing a phenomenal job coaching.
Tremendous coach.
And things of that nature. So everything's clicking, and then Kyrie Irving gets hurt again, which was a concern about him. Not to say that, not to
He's not going
disparage
to
or
get that
whatever,
injury
but
prone label.
yeah. He's had it since, I want to say high school, but
College.
really he's had it since college because in Duke he only played 7 games. His first couple years he missed 20, 30-something games a season or whatever the case may be. And now with Kyrie Irving just being out for the rest of the playoffs, does it hurt their chances? I mean, I said that when Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson got to Cleveland, that they were going to go back to the finals anyway.
I mean,
I said that right after. I don't know how much I was saying, but before that, if you recall, I was losing faith in them. I was like, nah, I think Boston got it. But I thought that as soon as they made those acquisitions, then they were going to get back. They would probably still struggle with Boston, 7-game series, something like that. But now,
I see that you're not giving no respect to Toronto.
Huh?
You're not giving any respect to That's mad disrespectful.
That response
so
right there.
disrespectful.
That
He's like,
response.
huh?
That
He's like,
response right there.
Who's
is
that?
Exactly.
Who's that?
I
the
saw,
answer.
you know
Now,
what?
hold on.
Toronto played a great game last night
Against Boston.
against
But
Boston.
let me talk.
But they're not going to do that against
Let
Cleveland.
me talk about
They're not doing
Toronto
that.
Let the man
real
talk.
quick. Before I get back to Boston, I'm going to
Yeah.
talk about Toronto real quick.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago,
I do like Toronto.
A couple weeks ago, I don't remember what episode of the podcast it was. You said, it would ask me, "Hey, do you really believe in Toronto?" I was like, "Yeah, I do. I believe in Toronto."
What did I say? I was probably like,
You were like, "No."
okay.
You were like, "No."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
pretty much call them frauds.
Yeah.
Yeah, your answers are usually
For-
blunt.
You probably something like, "Yo, fraudulent," something like that. And I was like, "Nah, you got to see they got a better bench, blah blah blah." And I was talking to my barber about this today, and here is why I've come back.
Yo,
to
show the
other
people,
side.
show the people your, the final product.
Fresh.
You know what I mean?
That's what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah,
Sharp,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
That's sharp.
I would do that too, but my barber's in the Dominican Republic, so I'm gonna wait till he comes back next
Let me
week.
chill.
and then
Let me
it's
chill.
on. Yeah. Next episode, I'll have that fresh cut though.
Actually, next episode we need to talk about something with barbers, about an episode of Atlanta I just watched. We'll get into that another time.
I gotta watch Atlanta.
You need to watch that. But Toronto,
Yeah.
if you look at the last couple times they played Cleveland, including this week, I have not been impressed with them. They look scared. They look like they don't know what to do.
This is not even in the playoffs.
In the
Usually that
playoffs.
happens in the second round of the playoffs.
I like what I see against other people. I like how they played last night against Boston.
I did too.
I like what I've seen. But when something about when they play Cleveland, they look like they shrink. And I don't think they have. Now I don't believe. I don't think they have any shot of giving Cleveland a run for their money.
It's LeBron.
I actually think Kyrie less Boston has a better chance
Again,
of giving,
so
not winning, but giving them a run for their money.
what's Cleveland gonna be? 3, right?
Looks like
Boston's gonna win the East.
Philly's
basically.
close. Philly could take 3 too. It's very close.
That'll affect it, because if they stay 1-3, then
Boston, Cleveland has no chance to go up to 2.
no. But if they stay 1-3, Boston and Cleveland, that means they could still meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, which will probably
Well,
be your
Boston's 2
prediction.
though. Boston's not 1.
Wait, how? Oh yeah,
Toronto's
that's
1.
right. That's right.
That's
right.
why I was saying you were disrespecting them by not
yeah.
even mentioning them. That was my point.
They're still not gonna. Cleveland's beating them in the second round in 6 games.
Toronto?
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
The way they looked the last couple times in Cleveland,
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're going to
6
win more
games.
than 1.
I'm not gonna say
It might be 5.
I don't know if I'm gonna go with 5 because I do respect Kyle Lowry, DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan, Serge Ibaka,
They
and
got
that's
a
pretty
team,
much
man.
Kyle Lowry had 8 points the last time I played Cleveland. He's disappearing.
He wasn't on my fantasy team.
I'm just telling you, I don't like
no damn
I
fantasy
don't like
basketball
what
no
I
more.
see out
I
of
do.
Toronto
Maybe next year.
against Cleveland, excluding when they played them, not the last time, the time before, where they blew, I think it was a 15 or 18-point lead.
Yeah.
So I have not, they seem to be coming up small. And Cleveland, I think those 2 games they've just played against them are going to be in their mind. It's going to be fresh in their memory. And I think it's going to affect them in the playoffs. I'm a little concerned about Toronto right now. I like the improvements they made, but I still don't think they're ready.
Before we get into the other stuff that we want to get to, let me twist this a little bit. How do you feel like this goes in terms of like LeBron? You know, people are going to once again be like, oh, he has an easy path to the finals because Hayward's out, Irving's out, Toronto you can't trust. Cleveland, although they've been horrible defensively and, their roster they needed a total rehaul just about at the
It's
trade
still really
deadline.
not good defensively.
Yeah, but where do you? So LeBron gets back to the finals. Is it not an accomplishment? Is it an accomplishment for him to get there for what, 7-8 straight years now?
Anybody who questions whether getting to the finals is an accomplishment, I know why you're bringing up that question, but anybody
I'm
who
asking,
think,
and I'm
No, I
pro.
know.
I'm pro LeBron.
I'm saying anybody
More
who
than you are.
anybody who thinks that it's not an accomplishment is out of their mind.
Yeah,
Right?
regardless of the league.
Yeah, you don't have you only can play who's in front of you. That's not your fault.
And my thing is
It's not
this.
your
My
fault.
thing is this too. If the East was so easy, all those years LeBron would have won. Why didn't anybody win the damn East then? Like, why didn't anybody beat him if it's so easy?
Right.
That's just my thing.
Where are the Wizards who claim they're a better team, who could
they're
now
fighting with each other.
Well, yeah. Well, now they could.
Sorry,
well,
Matty P.
Sorry, Matty P. The Wizards have said this that they were the best team in the
I
Eastern
mean, they're
Conference.
stupid.
Yet
I
they're the
agree
number
with
7
you.
seed.
They're idiots. Like, why are you taking a shot at me? All?
I'm not taking a shot at you. I said the Wizards.
I know they're
But out of all the Eastern Conference teams, you picked the Wizards.
Because they're
All
the
I'm
ones who said that they were the best team in the Eastern
Listen,
Conference. Well,
I
you
don't
know
bel-
that-
I
if
never
the
believed
East
that
was-
even when they
I
said
know
it.
you didn't believe
My
it.
only-
Next fourth seed.
Oh God.
Oh yeah,
Yo,
that is the
I-
stupidest comment on the
Stop
podcast.
being
Best,
delusional.
fourth
I
worst seed in
can't.
the East probably. But what's it called? I don't even know where they are.
Who, the
11th,
Knicks?
12th.
They're like 8th worst record in the NBA, tied for now.
All right. Good lottery pick. But anyway, so what's it called? Yeah, I just think that whole LeBron thing, like people are going to say it again. You know it's going to happen. But my whole thing is if it's so easy to get to the finals, why don't anybody else get to the finals?
I agree.
If he loses this season, which, I mean, probably going to happen, maybe to Houston. Spoiler alert. But what's it called? if
Nah,
that
bro,
were.
it's gonna be the Utah.
Oh, God.
All right. We just had we went from the
What's it gonna be in the-
Wizards saying they're the best team, which is a ridiculous comment. Lewis at this year talking about the Knicks were going to be the 4th seed, which was a pretty dumb
Yeah,
comment.
go
Not
back-
even next season.
Go back
Sorry.
to what was
And
it?
now the Jazz are going to be in the finals.
I hope so.
I hope you're right, but it's not happening.
Yeah,
All right.
that would be great. That would be a great troll.
Then you could really say you don't miss Gordon Hayward.
Just take note.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say. People take note.
Shut up. All right.
Do we want to do boxing first? Do we want to do the whole?
Let's move to boxing.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua.
We might push Hall of Fame.
Actually, no. Let me not get to Anthony Joshua first because I didn't watch that fight. But let me say the bigger.
All right, let me
the
tell you
bigger
real quick.
news-
Let me tell you
No,
real
no. I
quick.
know about the fight.
He was unspectacular.
Oh,
I just want
everybody's
to
told me that, and that's why I haven't been in a rush to watch a replay, and I probably won't.
I think 115, 113 Joshua. Not to get into a deep dive about the fight, but I say 115, 113
Anthony
Joshua.
Joshua versus Joseph
You know,
Parker.
and Sky Sports is reporting that Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn met today, Thursday, that we're doing this podcast, and that an offer is expected to be extended in the direction of Deontay Wilder soon regarding that mega fight. I don't know. What I do know is that Eddie Hearn will be in Brooklyn later this month because there is a card that he's promoting with Matchroom Boxing. Jarrell Miller is on it from Brooklyn. Danny Jacobs is on it from Brooklyn. You know what I mean? He's trying to attack this market as well. And he's going to get these questions from a lot of us. What's going on with Wilder Joshua? So it'll be interesting to
We're
see how that
excited
goes.
for that. I hope that fight happens.
I
We've
hope
been
that
waiting
happens.
for that.
That's really all we got to say about that fight.
I'll tell you what, I'm leaning a lot more to Wilder than I was a couple months
Wilder
ago.
by knockout. And I've been saying that for 2-3 years.
We'll
Wilder
get-
by knockout.
we'll get to that
Also,
in a
I
li-
just want to note this
in a little bit.
Oscar De La Hoya tweet. He said that if Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder wants to become household names in the United States and stop doing mediocre rating on Showtime, call me and I'll make you
Stop
superstars
it.
in the USA.
Stop it.
And he and Eddie
Stop
Hearn,
it.
you know what I mean? Like,
Look, you're not messing with Showtime's lineup right now. Sit
you're
down.
not. That's true.
Go sit down somewhere.
That's true. And
Go-
I like what Golden Boy is trying to do with ESPN too, but Showtime is doing it better than everybody
That's
right
right. I mean, yeah. I mean, it could be worse. It could be HBO saying that. But
now. Speaking of Golden Boy promotions,
yes, this hurt my heart and my soul. Canelo Triple G 2 is not going to happen.
even Lewis is disappointed, and he's not even he's a casual boxing fan, you would say, right? The big
I was
fights.
ready.
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo.
Give
I
Lewis
watched
the
the
mic.
I
I need
watched
Lewis to get
first
the
one.
mic.
Yeah, I was ready because my brother-in-law is Mexican, and he always go down and watch the fight. We watched the first fight at his house, man. It was a great time.
Great fight.
Yes.
Great fight.
Great fight.
I didn't think Canelo was gonna win, but either way, I was just like, wow, great fight
A
overall.
lot of people thought Triple G. Yeah, a lot of people.
I
Triple
thought
G
Triple G win it. However, obviously Canelo, did his thing. He won a couple rounds, but
It was
oh,
close.
man.
It was close.
It was so close. But man, I found this out today. Like you were the one who told me, and I was just like,
yeah, it came down a couple
man.
days ago, probably.
like
Look
honestly.
at the pain on his face.
Nah, man, like that's like a really like I just started getting into boxing recently, like not even Canelo, like other fights, but damn, I was just like that was gonna be a really good fight, a really good
he
fight.
just kept
I
failing
was
drug
pumped.
tests.
I was pumped. Canelo kept
Yeah.
failing drug tests. He knows that he wants to settle something with the association.
Yeah, WBC, for
See?
what it's worth, they're saying that they're sticking by him. They swear that he's clean, and that's why they support him, even though he keeps failing drug
and
tests.
you know
It's
what? You know why he
bizarre.
did it
It's
though.
really
You know why he
bizarre.
did it though, right?
Because he doesn't want a year's suspension. He can
No,
get 6
no.
months.
The Canelo freaking took the drug test. I mean, Dan took it. He took drugs just because he hit Triple G with his hardest punch, and Triple G literally was like,
Oh,
nope,
look at you calling out Canelo.
bro, no, because
Look
yo,
at you.
honestly, like yo,
I prefer that than people saying. what
yo,
they're
he
saying
hit
and
him
being
with
like,
his
oh, he
hardest
ate
punch,
contaminated food.
clean, and Triple G was just like, no,
So hold on, let me
no,
be clear
like a
here.
freaking roll.
You are saying that after the first fight,
After the first fight,
right,
he realized like,
and
yo,
he realized, yo, I gave my all. I only got a draw. Now I got to come back, even though I'm going to get paid. He wanted no parts of Triple G.
I disagree with
no,
that.
no, I didn't say that.
No,
I just said
that's
like
not what he's saying.
he
He's
needed
saying
a little
that-
bit of an
he's saying
edge.
that Canelo needed a little bit more of an edge, so he took some juice. But I
Exactly.
disagree with that because even before that, when he fought Miguel Cotto in November 2005, all you need to know is that they showed up for a light middleweight title, right? Or no, was it a middleweight title or a light middleweight title? I think it was a middleweight title.
Okay.
The catch weight was either 157 or 154 pounds. I don't know, but all I know is this: Canelo showed up to fight night and he weighed 187 pounds. Miguel Cotto showed up to fight night and he was like 160, 165, something like that. Canelo's been doing that at that weight for a long time. I've been saying for a long time, why don't he just go up to middleweight? Why don't he just go up to middleweight? Why don't he just go to middleweight? He
Still
doesn't do
though,
it.
like even I think Canelo's at his prime right now, and then just like he put up a good fight. No, like I think he would have been able to win it. Like he probably learned a lot from the first fight. However, damn man, like his hardest hit, it would have knocked out anyone else. Anyone else, he would have gotten knocked out.
I remember now.
Triple G literally just like whatever.
It was a
kept it going.
It was a middleweight title, but they were both weighing in pretty much at the light middleweight 154. No, it was a 155 pound catch weight, 1 pound over the light middleweight thing. Cotto weighed in 153.5, rehydrated up to 160. Canelo weighed at the limit 155, rehydrated up to 187.
That is wild though.
187 overnight, 24 hours.
How do you do
or
that
so.
though?
Because he drains himself to make that weight. He walks around at like 180, 185 pounds.
Right,
And
obviously.
he loses it all progressively, as boxers do before the fight, and then he rehydrates to an obscene amount. Now,
What do you mean rehydrate? Like, do they like?
he just gains the weight back.
Water, all the
Eats,
water weight.
water
Just
weight, steak, whatever. That happened the same thing. Daniel Gill did it before he fought Miguel Cotto months before that, and Miguel Cotto knocked him out.
That's
Because
insane.
Daniel Gill's not Canelo Alvarez.
That is insane.
Either way, I'm extremely disappointed. I was
Yeah,
looking forward to this
man.
fight, and Cinco de Mayo planned all around that. And now, what are we gonna watch Cinco de Mayo? They're talking about replacements for this.
Okay, yeah. So Billy Joe Saunders is one of the rumored replacements.
Who?
Yeah, that was literally what I was gonna say.
He's a WBO, I believe, WBO middleweight champion.
Don't care.
Talented fighter also. He looked very good in his fight earlier this year against David Lemieux, which aired on HBO. But he's not going to get me out of my seat about trip. Like, that's not a bad fight stylistically because he's a southpaw, whatever.
Are
the
you
case
also
may
trying
be.
to still make this a pay-per-view fight?
I hope
I'm not paying for that.
I hope not. No, me neither, because I know how that's gonna go. Now,
Man.
what would excite me? This isn't gonna happen. What would excite me? And here's
I wonder if you're gonna say what somebody told me.
This is how you know boxing is it, because when you say it excites me, but do you know this is not gonna happen? Because that's boxing. Because they don't make the fights that people want to see. Because now more than ever, there's too many people walking around with undefeated records. And that's because nobody's fighting each other, the undefeated fighters. You know, you rarely see Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia anymore. But anyway, with Golovkin, I want to see him fight Demetrius Andrade, who is little known, but he is a southpaw. He's very good and can give Triple G a lot of problems.
That would be
He's tall as
interesting.
hell. He has a long, I think, 80-inch reach. He's 6'2", probably like 160, 150. He's light middleweight, former light middleweight
I'd
champion.
like to see that.
I want to
but
see
nobody's
him
paying for that.
I want to see. They might pay for one of the Charlo brothers. I think Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo's the middleweight now. That's what I would like to see, but that's not gonna happen. I think. Wait. Hold on.
I don't know if people.
Mexico.
They've got
Ya
some name
sabemos.
through their
Mexico.
Showtime, but I don't know if anybody's paying for that.
Yeah.
I still don't buy that. You can't. I don't know if you can sell that.
But Jamal Charlo's fighting later
He's
this
fighting
month.
later this month.
Yeah, which I'll be at. He's fighting Hugo Centeno Jr. But I'd rather see him fight Triple G. But who do you want to see in case that happens?
Somebody had proposed. It's not going to happen because he's fighting soon too. But somebody had said Danny Jacobs. If Danny Jacobs wasn't fighting soon, I wouldn't mind seeing Danny Jacobs fight Triple G again.
I would love that.
That wouldn't have been bad.
Danny Jacobs is fighting this month though, so that would have to be like later this year. I think
they're
they'll
trying
still try
to get
make,
somebody to fight for Cinco de Mayo. That's what they want to happen. I don't think
This isn't the UFC where they're gonna let's get the champion from a weight class below and whatever.
Yo,
like in boxing,
why don't you just get Conor McGregor and have him throw chairs? I'll do that.
Yo, in boxing, here's the thing too.
Honestly, no.
In boxing, you'll have a lot of guys. In boxing, you'll have a lot of guys come out and say, "Yo, I'll take the fight," but then there's promoters and things get involved. That's what I do like about the UFC is that it's all under the UFC, so they can very easily make those fights. You don't have different governing bodies, different promoters, all segregated like you do.
In
You know,
boxing.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
it's a good point.
exactly.
Look.
And Peter, you need to stop because they're talking about, Canelo Alvarez, we can make him go vegan so he can be faster and stronger than ever because allegedly Canelo's failing these drug tests because he's eating contaminated meat from Mexico. We know that's bull. We know what it is.
He's contaminated. Has drugs in
He
it.
can eat clean meat here in the States. He can find clean meat in Mexico too.
Look, Peter's just trying to jump on an opportunity to get people to go vegan. No. All right, that's a wrap for episode 26 of the Ain't Hard Sell podcast. Hopefully, there's a fight on Cinco de Mayo that people actually.
We're gonna
wanna
eat
pay
steak
for.
now, Peter.
That's probably not what's. That's probably not
I
what's
mean,
going to
Cinco de Mayo
happen.
margaritas. That's all I'm gonna do.
It's gonna be that. It's gonna be just no fight with it.
Exactly. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. It's
That's
just,
why Floyd Mayweather always used to fight that weekend because that's a big,
See,
big.
and one thing I'll say before we go is I think this is definitely hurts boxing because I think there was a lot of hype for this fight. A lot of people were interested in seeing
And
this
you
fight.
should,
And it
like
definitely
honestly,
hurts the
Triple G
sport.
won that first fight, but I understood. I mean, boxing gets in its own way all the time. This is
I
why
agree.
I told David Diamante when we had him on this podcast that championship rounds should
That's a funny
be.
face.
They should go down to 11 rounds instead of 12. Because if you go to 11, mathematically, you have an odd number. You're gonna have less and less draws and less of an opportunity to make that happen. But
Yeah, but there's no
Tradition,
more rounds to
but
beat people
tradition.
up though.
I don't care about tradition, man. I don't care about tradition in any sport. That's why baseball gets in its own way. That's why boxing gets in its own way. That's why hockey gets in its own way.
Yeah, soccer.
That's why
and the
Brian
NBA
But
gets
the
in
most,
its own way.
but the most progressive sports, soccer, basketball. They don't
Well,
have
you
this
could
problem.
say
Football
bas-
gets in its own way because
you
of
could say-
tradition too.
You could say basketball and soccer are getting soft though too.
That's not getting in their own way though, because
That's
they're
true.
on social media. Those are the best two sports.
Yeah.
The
All
best
right.
two sports.
All right, well,
Matt's telling us to break, but I
yeah,
don't.
Matt's telling us that we are out of time.
Whatever.
Lewis is fighting with a microphone, looking like an idiot. No idea what he's doing there. We are out of
WrestleMania
time.
weekend, baby.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Let's go.
All right, you guys are ridiculous. You guys, hey, everybody out there, enjoy your
UFC
WrestleMania.
content, Jordan Brand Classic content coming soon, and WrestleMania. Me and Matt will be tweeting like
God.
crazy.
Yeah,
you
facts.
guys-
Join us. We might do a joint Instagram live again.
Maybe.
We might do that.
That might be fun.
Since we couldn't get the whole
Dex,
thing.
don't
together.
be
you know
hating,
who
bro.
won't be tuning in? Me.
Because I'm
This
Dexter
guy.
Henry.
He won't be tuning in. This is the guy who doesn't care.
But
That's
we will do some other stuff.
We'll be tweeting like crazy.
Well, I will be off Twitter this weekend.
Yeah.
That's it for episode 26.
Not if I tag
of
you.
the Hard to Tell podcast.
What if we blow up the group chat with WrestleMania updates?
Yeah.
Yo, The Undertaker. You won't see any responses from me.
We're gonna see
I
gifts.
will not be talking.
Yeah.
gonna
All
see
day.
gifts.
All day.
There won't even be a gift from me. But you know, I'll be just rolling my eyes. All right, we got to go. We're out of time.
What if
Episode
Marguerite wants to
26.
watch WrestleMania?
You're not going to get me to continue to talk about WrestleMania. Episode 26. It's a wrap.
It's a try.
For
We
Matthew
tried it.
Finiz and Matthew Panico, Luis Velez, Brian Fonseca. I'm Dexter Henry. Until next time. See you later, guys.
Sasha Banks.
Go vegan or go home.
Sasha Banks.
No vegan. Get
Sasha
it.
Banks, win that match, please.
Yo, Sasha Banks. Hit up
get
Brian
that title.
Fonseca.
Stop it.
At
You guys-
Ryan Fonseca. Brian Fonseca on Instagram.
you guys
On
are
Twitter.
a bunch of wrestling.
Sasha Banks is actually my favorite.
Hit him up.
wrestler.
Hit him up.